What's up guys, it's CKS15 or CKS15, however you want to say it, it's all right with me, and I'm back to show you another card trick and tutorial. Sorry, my throat is really dry right now, I don't know why. I guess I should have drank water before this, but oh well, I'm going to get this video done anyway. So today is Joshua J, Penn and S.S. performance revealed, and also S.S.S. by Shin Lim revealed. But the title is just going to be, It's just going to be Joshua J revealed, because the S.S.S. revealed, it's not that big of a deal. It's probably going to take a minute out of this video to just explain how the trick is done. But the Joshua J is going to be the main part, because it's going to take a couple of minutes to be able to know how this one is done. But anyway, without that, I want to get on with how the trick is done. So when I first saw it because someone suggested it, and even when someone suggested it, I've seen it before. When I first saw it, I said, well, it has to be a deck switch. He did like a really fast deck switch, because as you guys know, professionals are really good with a deck of cards or with whatever they use in their main act. In this case, Joshua J usually uses a deck of cards in his acts, but anyway, even if they aren't good and they don't use deck of cards in their acts, they're still really good with the deck of cards. Like you see that Penn and Teller, and they don't really use deck of cards that much, but they're still really good at handling with them. That's because they're professional magicians. Anyway, when I first saw it, I said it had to be a deck switch. And when he said at the end that it wasn't a deck switch, my mind was blown. I was completely dumbfounded, had no idea how the trick was done. So then I started considering other methods. Before the trick begins, I'm obligated to say this. This is my opinion of how I think the trick is done. I have no real evidence that this is how the trick is done, but if you perform this and you set it up just like I do, you will be able to do the trick exactly like Joshua J did in his professional performance, but it might be a different method to do the trick. It looks either very similar or identical to how the trick looked in the performance, but it might not be the exact method. I do not know if it is or if it is not the exact method. I have no knowledge of the true tutorial and the true method that he did. But if you perform it this way, it looks almost exactly the same or very close to the same. And plus you're getting it for free, so that's really good. So just stating that this is my opinion of how the trick is done. So anyway, with all that out of the way, let's go on with this. So when I heard that it wasn't a deck switch, I had to consider other methods. And then if you look, some of the people were thinking, well, if you think about it, you could hear the contestant, not the contestant, you can hear the spectator, yes, the spectator. You can hear the spectator dealing the cards down. He wasn't dealing it that loud, but I'm just giving you an exaggeration. You can even hear it through the camera, like the Penn and Teller Foolish camera, that he was dealing it down. You could hear it. But that's just because the spectator was kind of in a rush, I guess you could say. People think the spectator's forced and that stuff like that. The spectator's not forced, and the reason is this, is because if you read an article, it actually tells you that on the article that the spectator was not forced, and that is why Penn and Teller say it's one of the best tricks they've ever seen on the show. Because they did figure out how to do the trick, but they did find out that the spectator was not forced, and that's why they say it's one of their favorites. So, along with that, they say that the spectator is forced or that he heard him dealing. But the problem with the hearing him dealing thing is, I might have considered that too, but the thing is I automatically just trashed it, deleted the method of that, because if you think about it, that is very, very risky, especially for something big like Penn and Teller Fool Us. You should not rely on how loud the spectator deals down the cards, because the spectator might be so trying to crack your code that he might do it so quietly like this, go at like 1 frame per second, putting the cards down like that. You don't want to rely on stuff like that. So you need a better, more foolproof method that only involves you and your sleight of hand skills and stuff like that. So that's how I came up with this method. Some people also thought that he mentally commanded him to pick the 4 of diamonds. But then what I say to that is the same as the other thing. That is very, very risky to do, and plus it's not that realistic in any way. It's not really that realistic that he can mentally command someone to pick the 4 of diamonds. But anyway, after saying all that, let me tell you how I think he did it. And this is also pretty foolproof, because I thought it was really good. So let's go on with it. So first of all, how did he know that the 4 of diamonds was there? And how was the deck blank? All these questions wanting to be answered. First one I'm going to answer is, how did he turn the whole deck blank if it wasn't a deck switch? Well, the answer to that is the whole deck was already blank. It started off, all of these cards, instead of being face cards, they were already blank. And notice this, the way that I got this idea or opinion is because he never actually shows you the other side of the cards. Usually the magician will show you the other side of the cards and tell you that all of them are inked or have characters on them, and if you spread them over, that all of them are blank. But there was a problem because he didn't do any of that. He actually put it in the guy's hand and said, and took the spectator's hand and put it over him and say, put your hand over it like this. So just in case he did see the bottom of the cards. He didn't want that to happen, so all of it was already blank. Now, let me tell you how he knew how he did it. So this is my opinion of how I think he knew how he did it. If you guys notice, you guys don't know this right now, or you might have, but if you take 2 cards like this, and then you do back to back, Drake, no, I was kidding. If you do this back to back, and you just keep rubbing them like this together, you feel that laxination or whatever, this lumination. I don't know what it's called. It's like a thin layer of wax or plastic that goes over this. You kind of feel it to wear off. If you rub it together like hard enough times, you can kind of even hear it, and you can kind of feel it rubbing off. You can feel laxination rubbing off. And that means when you're going through the deck of cards, you can feel the difference in the one card that was rubbed off. So say if I rubbed off this card with the other back of this card, that means they both would be rough. So if I'm going through the deck, I can already feel that this card is different from the other cards just because I rubbed it off. And you don't need another back of the card to rub it off so that you don't mess both of the cards up. You can use sandpaper, but sandpaper kind of discolors it. And also, you're going to need to do this with 2 cards. So it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If you just use the back of one card on the other card and you just rub it together until the laxination kind of goes off. And you don't want it to be too bad to where the spectator dealing the cards won't notice it, but you just want it to where you can notice it. Because if you're a magician, then you have cards in your hand the whole time. You know how all of them feel. You know them forwards, backwards, and sideways. So you should be able to tell the difference if you've been dealing with cards for a long time. So anyway, that's what he does. All you need to do, and the thing I like about this trick, is you can do this part of the trick to anyone, anytime, even if you're a beginner. Just rub it, just get it together, and then rub it together hard like this, and you will be able to feel that it becomes kind of rough. And then when you turn them all over after you're done rubbing it together for a while, you can feel the difference from these 2 cards and the top cards and the rest of the cards in here. So that's how he does that part. And then all you need to do is place one of the rough cards on top and one of the rough cards on bottom. And this is what this does, okay? So when the spectator is dealing down the number that he wants his card to be, so say if he wanted the 4 of diamonds, because he used the 4 of diamonds in that, all he needs to do is deal down this first card. This is the rough card, okay? Deal down this first card. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 cards here, all right? And this one at the very bottom is the rough card. You can feel that it's rough because you rubbed it together. And then after that, now is then you place the whole deck on top. So what you're doing here is you have one rough card right here, and then you have one rough card at the bottom right here, and then you're placing this rough card on top of the 4 cards that has the rough card at the bottom. If that doesn't make sense to you, keep rewinding the video. It will eventually make sense. You're placing this on top. Again, the rough card is right here. Placing it on top just like that. So that way, it turns out like that. So now you have the rough card on the bottom, and you have another rough card like near here somewhere. So then after you do that, he's like, now tell me the suit, all right? And if it's clubs, put down 1. If it's club, blah, 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 stuff like that. Now, the spectator does this. He chooses diamonds, which is 4. So he puts down 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he places the whole deck on top. Some of you who are not new to Magic, who are kind of veterans at Magic, already know how he gets the card and how he knows what the value is. And now you guys are probably going to go over to your friends and stuff like that and then perform this little part of the trick to them, amaze them. But for those of you who are new, I'll tell you how this works, okay? So he has 4 right here. He knows that this is the suit. If there's 4 here, it's diamonds. And then he knows that the number 4 is what he chose because the 1 rough card is right here. And then there's 1 at the bottom. Oh, wait, no, my bad. The 5th card, which is the rough card, is right here. So he knows once he goes through this whole deck and feels this rough card, he's like, okay, the counting is about to start. So I'm going to kind of dumb this down for you. After he feels this rough card, the counting is about to start. He puts it away over there. He doesn't even recognize that rough card anymore. And then he looks, okay, 1, counting again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the 4th one is rough. So he knows that the value of the card that he chose, the spectator chose, is 4 because there's 3 cards and then the rough card, which also counts as 1. So that value is 4. And then he's like, okay, that's pretty cool. So now that he reaches the rough card, the 4, he knows that this one, the value that he chose in the number, is 4. And once you reach that rough card, the number of cards after it will be the suit that he picked. So once he gets to this rough card, he knows, okay, the value is 4, and then he says, now all the rest will tell me what the suit is. So then he looks 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it's diamonds, so the whole thing, the card he chose in his mind, is the 4 of diamonds. That's how it works. If you guys don't understand it, just keep rewinding it. You guys will understand at some point, one time or another. So now he knows that the card is the 4 of diamonds because he had 4 and 4. And the way that I confirm this is because you see him going through the deck, and then once he gets to the 5th card, about right here, he kind of stops for a little bit because you can see him going through, and then he's like, and he's blindfolded, so he stops because he feels it on his thumb. He's like, oh, that's the card, that's the cue card. And then he starts counting it off like this, and then he feels the other rough card, and then now he has 8 cards. And you notice this because he was taking little chunks at a time, putting it down, taking another little chunk at a time, putting it down, taking another little chunk, and then once he reaches that rough card, he puts that pile down, and then he puts the rough card, like, I don't know where he puts the rough card. I wasn't paying attention because I was paying attention to this part. He puts the rough card somewhere, and now now you can see, if you go on the video and pause it right at this moment where he has the last little chunk, you can count the cards, and trust me, I've already did it. He was holding 8 cards in his hand. And just so happened, the spectator chose 8 cards because there was the 4 of diamonds, there was 4 cards, and then diamonds were 4. This could be a coincidence, but I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that he felt the rough card. He said, this is 4, here's the rough card, this is 4. Because that's what the spectator number that he chose. So now he knows the 4 of diamonds because he had 8 in his hand and he was kind of feeling that part of the deck. And that's how I noticed that. You can go back and watch the video. Link will be in below to see that part of the trick. That's how he figures out that his number is the 4 of diamonds. You can see him holding the 8 cards. Just recapping on that. Now the question is, if the whole deck is blank, you understand everything else. If the whole deck is blank, how does he get the 4 of diamonds into the deck? Now there's multiple different methods for ways to do this. Now personally, me being myself, I really like sleight of hand tricks, don't get me wrong, but the easier and more powerful the trick, like if you were to do that part right now where you rub the cards, make them all rough, so then you feel for them and you could tell what their card was just by the number of cards that you had. That part is super powerful. Just imagine doing that to a spectator and them freaking out right now. I would stop right there because this is where it gets kind of real. So the way that he gets the 4 of diamonds into the pile is, yes, he has a blank deck, and there's different methods that you can use to do this. First of all, when he's going through the deck and then he just looks for a random card, he could be like, oh, I think this is your card. And then all he needs to really do is kind of just, I don't know, get the 4 of diamonds. I'll explain to you how he gets the 4 of diamonds. Get the 4 of diamonds out of the deck, which is, there's another deck below him. I'm gonna explain that later. And then this card that he picked has a magnet, and then just kind of pick it up like that and while he's going to pick it up, just kind of switch the card a little bit, and then it's the 4 of diamonds. There's that way, but then there's another way, and this is the way I think that he did it. But the thing is, the cameras don't go on the magician at all time at Fool Us, so you kind of missed it. But the thing is, you could kind of see that once he said, I'd have a feel for this card. And he already told him just to spare time. He was kind of feeling around the table. You can kind of see him. He's like, just to spare time, he told him what his card is, the 4 of diamonds. That because he felt the rough cards, like I said earlier today. And he knows that, or earlier this video. And he knows that the card is the 4 of diamonds. So he's kind of like, is your card possibly the 4 of diamonds? And you can see after that, he's like, yes, it is. And he's kind of feeling all around the table. This is kind of, I guess you could say, misdirection. And then while the cameras go off of him, he just goes and picks up the 4 of diamonds, like from the regular deck. How he does this, I'm sorry if this video is really long. I'm really trying to give you the in-depth explanation of this. How he does this, I'll explain it to you right now. Okay, so basically, under the table, here's what I think. Under the table, all he needs to have is 40 cards. And you're like, 40? Why 40 cards? And it's because he told him, put down the value of your card. He did not tell him what to put down for the jacks, queens, kings, and... Wait, no, not the... Yeah, the jacks, kings, and queens. He did not tell him what value to put down for those. So that leaves 1 through 10. And there's 4 of a kind for each one. So 4 times 10, getting you a little math lesson, is 40. So he does not need the face cards. And all he has to do is that means since he does that, all he needs is 10 piles of 4. So there would be the 4s here, the aces here, the jack, not the jacks, the 6s here, the 5s here, the 4s here, and so on, etc. So that's all he really needs. And he only needs those 40 cards, 10 piles of 4. And if you're a magician, that quick little camera glance off and then glance on is all you need to find the pile of 4s and then pick the 4 of diamonds out of there really quick. And since there were the 4 of diamonds, I'm just going to show you what he kind of did right here that you could actually do yourself. While you're there, all you need to do is kind of drop your hand below the table, because since you're not really that professional magician, just like look at them with your hand kind of beneath the table, acting all nonchalant, and say very slowly, is your card possibly the 4 of diamonds? And while you're under there, you're looking, you're feeling, okay, that's ace, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. You pick up this card, this pack of 4s, and then you're like, okay, now the diamonds. So then you memorize the order that you put all the cards in. So in this case, mine is club, heart, diamond, spade. So then you say, okay, I have them right here. Just kind of fan them out, and I'm going to do this with one hand, okay? So club, heart, diamond, spade. And then you're saying, okay, so he's feeling this card. He's like, okay, that's not it. Club, heart, diamond, spade. So then he takes the diamond, then he just drops the rest of the cards like that, one-handedly, and then all he needs to do is get a little palm like this. And then all you need to do is while you're doing this nonchalantly, you can be misdirecting them, telling them a short little story that no one cares about. Just bring your hand up from like this, just bring your hand up like this, and then kind of just palming it kind of weird right now because I'm just trying to explain it. Then all you need to do is kind of just slip it in here, right here, and then just automatically spread out the deck. And then all you have is the 4 of diamonds just chilling right here while you're spreading out the deck. And then all you need to do is take the 4 of diamonds, and then you're like, ooh, ooh, take the 4 of diamonds from under the pile, and then put it on right there. Say, ooh, 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 I think I'm getting a feel for this card. And then now, once you've done that in the trick, you're kind of left clean. That's how I recommend you guys do it who aren't performing for very large crowds, just like maybe a couple, like tens of people maybe. Say, ooh, 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 I think I got a feeling of this card. Then all you need to do is flip it over and reveal it's the 4 of diamonds, and that you said the 4 of diamonds. That is the way I suggest you do the trick. I suggest that when he switched the card, because he said he did a deck switch, not a card switch. Penn asked him if he did a deck switch. He said, I did not do a deck switch. And in the world of magic, a deck switch and a card switch are two totally different things. They're polar opposites. So you might think, but it's the same thing. No, it's not. It's definitely polar opposites in the world of magic. So he did a card switch where all he needs to do is boom, and then just put it down, you're off clean, boom, is your card the 4 of diamonds? But of course you're going to want to build it up, say, is your card perhaps the 4 of diamonds? He said, yes it is. Is this card perhaps the 4 of diamonds? And amaze everybody. That is how you do the trick. Pretty cool trick. If you guys liked it, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. A rating is a rating. It doesn't really matter. Comment your opinions. And I wanted to just tell you guys one more thing. I probably won't be uploading more frequently. Now that's not going to say like I'm not going to upload ever again. What I'm saying is this guy gave me a comment saying that you should focus on the quality of your videos instead of the quantity. If I set a due date and try to figure out a magic trick within that due date, people, it's not going to be like, it's not going to be probably as good as if I were to take like maybe 3 weeks or something to think about how the trick is done, watching it, and say, okay, I know I have a pretty good reason this is how this is done, it's pretty reasonable, and then showing you guys, and then showing you the real method and like a detailed explanation of how to do it, and then you guys watching it, and actually being able to know the real method and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of, instead of 1 video a week, it might be 1 every 2 or 3 weeks. I need to kind of cut down on the quantity because, again, quantity doesn't matter, quality matters. I hope you guys understand. Leave your comments of what you think of this new change in the description. And if you like this, leave a like. And now it is time for how to do SSS by Shin Lim. This video is probably about 20 minutes, but it's okay. So, how to do SSS by Shin Lim. Basically, if you see in Shin Lim and you see the other people performing Shin Lim's SSS, you see that they all have the same mat, the same black half circle map. Not map. Mat. And you see that some of the people who aren't as professional, you can kind of see the smoke coming out of the mat. So the mat is the solution, the smoke coming out of the mat, and it's just like it's kind of like what's it called? A fog. What's it called? A fog machine, that's what it's called. It's like a fog machine, but in a matte version. And then all you need to do, I don't know if there's like a pump on the ground, but he said you can perform it and his trailer is completely surrounded. So I'm guessing there's like a little button on the side of the mat that you just like push down and then like fog just like comes out of the thing. That's how you do SSS. That's how he makes the fog. I didn't know if you guys wanted the tricks in SSS or you just wanted to know how to make the fog appear. And how he makes it appear in his mouth and stuff like that, all you need to do is put it in your mouth and then kind of just like put a card in there and then you could like open up your mouth, the fog comes out. And to put it in your hand, all you need to do is take some in your hand and then your hand is kind of smoking and it looks pretty cool. That's how you do it, but you do need to buy the actual product to be able to do the SSS. Just thought I would share that with you. This probably took a minute for those of you who want me to reveal SSS. So again, if you like the video, you can like the video. You can like the video if you like the video. And if you do like the videos, you can subscribe as well. I'm not going to force you. Again, you do have free choice. It's just that if you want to stay updated on all the videos I'm doing and you want to help me out as a channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. Not going to force you. Anyway, guys, now it's time for the random fact of today. And today is actually a word you guys probably did not know. It is called intransigent. Or intransigent. I don't know how to really... Intransigent. And the definition of it is refusing to agree or compromise, inflexible. So if you guys like the video, I'm gonna stop being redundant. You guys already know what to do. I'm CKI Skies and I'm out.